In 2008, Las Vegas Strip revenues plunged by nearly a quarter. Public filings first warned of cost containment. 15 years later, entire departments have vanished, and hotel job cuts are quietly traced in labor filings and digital check-ins. What really triggered these cascading Vegas layoffs, and why are casinos not telling the full story? The answer reveals a side of the Strip you have never seen, and it starts long before the pandemic. Las Vegas casino operators confronted a historic collapse in demand during the Great Recession. Between 2008 and 2010, Nevada Gaming Control Board data show Strip gaming revenues dropping from $6.8 billion to $5.5 billion, a decline of nearly 20%. Hotel occupancy fell sharply, and operators faced mounting losses. Academic analysis from UNLV's William F. Harrah College of Hospitality traces the roots of today's labor model to this period, when executives began to reimagine casino staffing as a permanent cost center rather than a temporary casualty of crisis. In 2009, major casino companies introduced a new vocabulary in their SEC meetings. MGM's Form 10-K first referenced cost containment and labor efficiencies as recovery strategies, language echoed by Caesars and Wynn in subsequent reports. These filings did not just describe layoffs or furloughs. They outlined a blueprint for leaner operations, with an emphasis on productivity and margin protection. By 2010, the phrase "maintain leaner operations" appeared in both industry commentary and academic research, signaling a strategic pivot. UNLV scholars documented how operators, facing uncertain demand, chose not to fully rehire even as revenues rebounded. Instead, the lean model, born out of necessity, became a lasting approach, shaping every operational decision that followed. The stage was set for a new era on the Strip, where controlling labor costs and streamlining staffing became the guiding principle, long before the arrival of automation and digital guest services. Boyd Gaming stands as an early example of how Las Vegas operators translated cost-cutting strategies into concrete operational changes. In 2010, Boyd launched its first shared services center, consolidating back-office functions like accounting, human resources, and IT for multiple properties. Securities and Exchange Commission filings from subsequent years detail how these moves enabled Boyd to reduce redundant roles at the property level, shifting support work to centralized corporate teams. Form 10-K filings and quarterly earnings calls describe this approach as a permanent efficiency that would outlast any single economic downturn. On the casino floor, Boyd began to optimize slot machine layouts. By tracking win per unit metrics, management identified underperforming machines and removed or reconfigured them, allowing for higher returns per square foot with fewer slot attendants and technicians required. Annual reports documented this process as reshaping the labor mix to match new revenue realities. The change reduced staffing needs without reducing the gaming footprint, and it increased revenue density. Parallel to these internal changes, in the early years of that decade, the hospitality sector introduced self-service check-in kiosks across large resorts. Technology vendors published studies showing that in comparable resort environments, average check-in transaction times dropped by 40 to 50% after kiosk adoption. While operators described these systems in filings as guest conveniences, the effect was shorter lines and the ability to handle more arrivals with fewer front desk staff. These early pilots set the technical groundwork for larger-scale automation, and operators began to see measurable improvements in both guest experience and labor costs. By combining back-office centralization, slot floor optimization, and self-service technology, Boyd and its peers established a playbook for running leaner. These operational levers became standard across the Strip as executives shifted investment priorities toward non-gaming amenities, loyalty program integration, and repurposing space for higher-margin revenue streams. Caesars Entertainment and Las Vegas Sands both turned away from the old model of relying primarily on casino gaming, and instead channeled investment into rooms, food and beverage, and large-scale conventions. In the late 2010s, Caesars' annual 10K filings began to detail a rising share of revenue from non-gaming sources. By 2019, Caesars reported that rooms, restaurants, and entertainment collectively accounted for more than half of its Las Vegas revenue. The company's loyalty program, Caesars Rewards, became a central engine for driving guest spending not just on the casino floor, but across every outlet and property. Securities and Exchange Commission filings describe how Caesars used data analytics from its loyalty platform to target offers and maximize cross-property visitation, with a growing emphasis on higher-margin amenities. Las Vegas Sands, meanwhile, devoted hundreds of millions of dollars to expanding and upgrading its convention and meeting spaces. Investor presentations and capital expenditure tables from this period show heavy allocations for convention center expansions at the Venetian and Palazzo, while gaming floor upgrades received comparatively less capital. Management repeatedly described meetings and conventions as essential for keeping hotel occupancy high during weekdays and supporting premium room rates. Both operators positioned non-gaming revenue as more stable and more profitable, especially as overall gaming's share of the revenue mix declined. These strategic choices, documented in Securities and Exchange Commission tables and investor calls, set the foundation for a Strip increasingly driven by loyalty programs, guest data, and non-casino spending, years before the pandemic would accelerate digital transformation and automation. In 2018, a new line appeared in the contracts covering tens of thousands of Las Vegas casino workers. After weeks of negotiations and a looming threat of a strike, Unite Here, Culinary Workers Union Local 226 secured a clause aimed directly at automation. The agreement, finalized with major Strip operators such as Caesars, included language requiring advance notice and bargaining before any new technology could replace union jobs. The contract also called for retraining and redeployment opportunities if automation threatened existing positions. Gioconda Arguello Klein, then the union's secretary-treasurer, described the deal in a public statement, saying the contract protects workers from technology taking their jobs. The full contract summary, released by the union on June 1, 2018, highlights these safeguards as a key win. While detailed bargaining records remain confidential, the union's press release and contract summary confirm that job security in the face of automation became a formal legal barrier for casino management. This language would soon be tested as digital check-in kiosks and mobile platforms expanded across the Strip, setting up a new kind of labor management standoff just ahead of the pandemic's arrival. On March 17, 2020, Nevada's governor issued an emergency order requiring all casinos to close their doors, halting operations across the Las Vegas Strip and beyond. This unprecedented mandate brought gaming, hospitality, and entertainment to a standstill overnight. Within hours, casino operators began notifying employees of mass furloughs and layoffs, following legal requirements under the Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification Act, known as the WARN Act. Station casinos filed a WARN notice in Clark County that same week, listing thousands of positions across properties like Red Rock Resort and Green Valley Ranch as subject to temporary furlough or layoff. The company's notice cited the state order as the direct cause, and the headcount affected ran into the thousands, and it was one of the largest single-employer events ever recorded in local WARN filings. Similar notices appeared from other major operators, but Station Casinos' filings stand out for their scale and speed. Nevada Department of Employment Training and Rehabilitation records show a surge in UARN activity during March and April of 2020, with hospitality and gaming accounting for the bulk of job actions. The legal mandate forced companies to act quickly, and the filings also made clear that not all furloughed workers would be recalled even after casinos reopened. For many, the shutdown marked the beginning of a permanent transformation in Las Vegas employment. MGM Resorts began 2025 by eliminating concierge desks at 6 of its 9 Strip properties. This move resulted in 19 layoffs and 15 staff transfers, a decision the company linked directly to digital adoption. Coverage of MGM resorts. Quarterly earnings call indicates executives said that roughly 80% of concierge and call center guest exchanges now occur on digital platforms, including the MGM app. At the same time, MGM confirmed layoffs in valet services at one mid-tier property. Chief Financial Officer Jonathan Halkyard told analysts that full-time equivalents in Las Vegas were down, and he emphasized ongoing labor expense management. Across the Strip, similar patterns appeared. Fontainebleau and Resorts World reported layoffs among casino dealers, citing both weaker tourism and the spread of electronic table games, machines that handle bets and payouts without human dealers. Local educators noted declining enrollment in dealer training programs, reflecting a shrinking demand for live dealer roles. Occupancy data from the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority shows hotel occupancy at 82.9% in March 2025, down from 85.3% the previous year. Visitor volume dropped 7.8% year over year, and Strip gaming revenue fell in 6 of the past 7 months. At Wynn, the housekeeping model shifted toward on-request service, a policy described in public materials as a response to guest preferences and health protocols. Union representatives publicly argued that these changes reduced scheduled hours for room attendants, though Wynn did not release specific headcount figures. Together, these actions confirm a structural recalibration. Digital platforms and operational policies are enabling operators to serve fewer guests with fewer staff, even as overall demand fluctuates. Today, over 50% of Strip resort profits come from non-gaming sources, and staffing levels remain far below the peaks seen before 2008. As automation and cost-cutting accelerate, the future of hospitality work in Las Vegas is being rewritten, often without public debate. The real gamble now is who gets left behind.